Senator Franken returned to the Senate floor yesterday for the final time.
It was just 2 weeks ago he made the sudden announcement that he would be leaving office.
Serving in the United States Senate has been the great honor of my life.
3 weeks prior to this, several women came forward accusing him of sexual misconduct. Senator Franken's farewell speech today focused a lot on his mentor, the late Senator Paul Wellstone. The Minnesota Democrat also took the opportunity to compare Wellstone's values to the current White House administration.
Policies pursued by the Trump administration and congressional Republicans today could not stand in starker contrast to the principles Paul championed and the values that I have fought for during my time in the Senate.
Franken did not address the sexual misconduct allegations against him. Within the past month, several women came forward accusing him of groping and inappropriate behavior. One says that he forcibly kissed her. Senator Franken's last day in office is January 2nd. The next day, Tina Smith will be sworn in. In November, a special election will be held to fill the seat.
From lawmakers in Washington to Hollywood movie sets, one Minnesota office is preparing for the wave of sexual harassment complaints to hit close to home. Minnesota Department of Human Rights has a mission to make the state discrimination-free. On the subject of sexual harassment, investigators fully expect they'll be hearing from many more Minnesotans ready to talk about what may be happening to them at work. WCCO's Liz Collin has our story.
I think this is a watershed moment.
An employment attorney for 20-plus years, Kevin Lindsay has spent the last 6 serving as Minnesota's Commissioner of Human Rights, an office tasked with investigating discrimination claims at workplaces across the state.
Sexual harassment occurs when you receive unwelcome sexual advances.
A web video now aims to answer questions, as the Commissioner expects the sexual harassment category to climb.
For the department, I think we're just at the very beginning of that stage, and I would say for society at large, we're just at the very beginnings of that stage.
Lindsay compares this movement to what we witnessed a few years ago with school bullying. Once students and parents felt schools would take their concerns seriously, more came forward.
In the department, when we do investigations, we're approaching them as a neutral fact finder.
The Department of Human Rights issues more than 600 discrimination charges a year, with between 30 to 50 sexual harassment charges against employers in the last 5 years. Lindsay admits it's much more common that kind of complaint won't result in a charge.
I would say it's probably not very different than what you have in state or federal court.
It's why he expects proposals to change state laws surrounding sexual harassment this legislative session, as case law attempts to play catch-up.
Once it starts to really resonate in that employers, that government, that enforcement agencies are really going to take this seriously as a society, then I think you're going to see more complaints being filed.
Liz Collin, WCCO 4 News.
Under Minnesota's human rights law, you do have 1 year to file a complaint of discrimination with the state, and Commissioner Lindsay says the first step to take if you think you're being sexually harassed in the workplace is to go to your Human Resources Department. We have a link to more steps on WCCO.com.
A small Minnesota town is coming to grips with the sudden death of one of its brave firefighters. 40-year-old Jeff Balmers' heart stopped early Tuesday morning at his home. The volunteer firefighter's death came just hours after he had taken part in a physically challenging training exercise. Yesterday, Balmers fire chief spoke highly of the husband and father of 2.
He went to extra amounts of training, was very knowledgeable in firefighting. He wanted to know everything he could as far as that goes.
A medical examiner is performing an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death. We do know Balmer's father survived a heart attack a few years ago. Donations to the family can be made through Home Bank of Waconia. Life expectancy in the United States has dropped for the 2nd year in a row.
And the reason, health leaders point to the opioid crisis and other factors. On average, babies born in 2016 are expected to live 78.6 years in the U.S. That is 2 months shorter than those born in 2015. National Center for Health Statistics says that is because the increase of drug-related deaths. Heart disease and cancer are still the top killers of men and women, but unintentional injuries, which include drug overdoses, are a significant cause.
Insurance enrollments through MNsure are looking healthy for the new year. The agency says more than 100,000 shoppers have bought private coverage so far. That is up 12% from this point last winter. If you still need health insurance, you can sign up through mid-January for coverage in February. A record 96% of Minnesotans now have health coverage. Well, for many people,